These are the Glizzy Bandits. And this is their leader, Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
They had just pulled off yet another bank heist of the Lego City Bank.
Hey!
And after a brief shootout with the LCPD, they were able to take them down, and they were able to make their getaway, eventually returning to their hideout, which, yeah, let's just say they're a customer of Heisenberg when you're living in this neighborhood.
Say my name. You're goddamn right.
Once inside their little crack shack, Jeff and the Glizzy gang were ready to open up their spoils from another successful Lego City bank robbery. But when they opened it, all they found inside was Monopoly money. Fake money. For you see, the Glizzy gang had robbed the bank so many times that the bank ran out of dough and was using Monopoly money as IOUs. Jeff and the gang was furious. Their runs on the bank would no longer work. But Jeff's buddy, Peter, had an idea. If the trio couldn't rob the bank anymore, they should rob the next best thing. The LEGO City Museum, where thousands of dollars of priceless artifacts were constantly on display, ripe for the taking.
Ooh, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
The Glizzy gang decided their best course of action would be to stake out the place first. So they put on some inconspicuous disguises, so nobody would possibly recognize them.
Oh, what are you talking about, man?
And headed up the steps to scope out the museum. Purchasing tickets from the front desk, they noticed that security was particularly light. However, they also saw there was a small security room to the right side, where there appeared to be a security desk with a direct phone line to the police. They proceeded onward inside their disguises, ready to scope out more of the museum and figure out what they wanted to steal. There were many rooms, each with different relics or valuable pieces of artwork worth hundreds of thousands, if not millions. But there was another problem. Guards stood at attention next to the most valuable pieces in the museum, and there were loads of civilians walking around who would just get in the way of any heist. So the trio left knowing two things. One, they would need more robbers to deal with the guards. And two, they would have to do the heist once the museum had closed. Back at the hideout, Jeff and the gang changed back into their robber gear, and they discussed getting new hires for the Glizzy gang. And luckily, Brick Tactical has supplied us with a multitude of criminals to add to the Glizzy gang. Let's check them out. First off, we've got the Separatist Agent here, which you might recognize from a certain FPS shooter, Counter-Strike Global Offensive.
Bomb has been planted.
This fella's highly detailed and inconspicuous, perfect for any type of robbery. And he comes with a very nice AK-47. But he's brought some CSGO friends. The Elite Crew Agent, which we actually have two of. These fellers also come with the same AK-47s and are very inconspicuous with their bandanas and sunglasses, so their identities will not be shown on CCTV camera. These minifigs from BrickTactical.com are gorgeous, but it won't be enough. We'll need to pad the ranks with even more criminals. And the best way to do that is take some of your boys here and toss a couple of ski masks on them. Then, of course, equip them with some weaponry to take on the heist. But let's go ahead and bolster their ranks even farther. The gang's all here and ready to rob a museum.
Okay, let's go.
But first, Jeff and his new team are going to need a couple of utensils to get through museum security. Firstly, some breach charges to get through the locked door, a chemical sprayer to reveal any lasers on the ground that could trigger an alarm, and of course, lock-picking kits to get through any relics that might be bolted down. The crooks all load up into the back of an old camper van, heading towards the museum to make their millions. Once there, they quickly unassemble and get to work, setting up the breach charge, running away, and blowing open the solid oak doors. cracking the lock and opening a path into the museum. Jeff quickly barges into the head guard's office and fires before he can call for backup. With the first threat eliminated, the rest of the crew marched down the museum hallway, where a lone guard was quick to react, blasting away one of the robbers and dealing the first casualty to the team. But response fire was swift, knocking him down cold. The rest of the robbers quickly got to work pilfering Mozart's piano, Chucky's knife, and even a valuable bust of handsome Squidward.
Wow, they have it! Lazy.
But while they were pilfering, they didn't know that a guard had been lurking behind a potted plant. He sprayed fire, killing 3 of the robbers, including 2 members of the original Glizzy gang, in an instant.
Lazy.
His pistol clicked empty. He knew he had to get to the security safe room, and quickly, so he took off running. Once the security guard made it to the security room, he was locked in. It doubles as a panic room, and he's able to use the console to sound the alarm and get back up to the museum before all of the valuables are taken. He's done his job, and all he can do is hope that the police arrive before everything is looted by the criminals. Speaking of which, more special artifacts were being ripped from the public as time went by. But there were a few special artifacts that Jeff was after, one of which being the Chaos Emerald.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Which they knew was going to be guarded by tons of small red lasers. So they began to emit a special spray that would reveal the lasers. Now it would simply be a matter of bypassing said lasers, but it would take some time, as if they tripped it, then they could potentially lose limbs. These weren't alarm lasers, these were limb-cutting lasers.
Oh no!
So Jeff left it to the more acrobatic of the soldiers. There was someone else about to deal with him. Agent Cooper of the FBI had received the distress call from the Lego City Museum security guard. She instantly knew a SWAT team was going to need to be called upon, so she made the executive order to radio them in. So let's develop our Lego SWAT team. First off, we're gonna need our breacher. And as a breacher, he's going to be having himself a riot shield, because he's going to be in the face of a lot of combat. On top of that, he's going to want a nice door breacher to actually get through them pesky doors.
FBI, open up!
Now the front man here is always going to need some heavy support. That's where this fella comes into play. Now as the support operative, we're going to go ahead and give him a nice SMG, in particular a PDW. That'll make him a little bit more ready for some close quarters combat, but just in case, we'll also give our boy some of this pepper spray, which can incapacitate anyone who might be having a little bit of trouble lowering their weapons. On top of that, as a backup, we'll go ahead and put a nice little pistol, a P250, into our boy's holster, and in the old butthole hook here,
What?
we'll put some white phosphorus to provide some cover for our front man. Now that we've got our breachers set up, we'll probably need to go ahead and get them some heavy cover weapons. That comes in the form of this fella right here, the heavy weapons man,
I am heavy weapons guy.
who right now is only sporting a little jacket. So we'll go ahead and slap on a nice heavy ballistics vest, which as you can see has some shotgun shells in it, and so of course we're gonna go ahead and give him a nice double barrel shotgun, something that can pack a serious punch against the enemies. On top of that, as the enforcer, he's going to go ahead and carry around a nightstick with him so he can slap down any criminals. Of course he's going to need a sidearm, so we'll give him the Block 19, baby. Yes sir. And in his back little hook here, we'll give him a nice knife in case things get really deadly close quarters. Now we have heavy weapons man, but we'll probably also need an EOD explosive trooper, just in case there's any bombs.
Bomb has been planted.
So we got this EOD trooper right here. We're gonna have to give them a little satchel in the front in order to hold all their bomb defusing equipment, as well as a sensor flashlight for better visuals on the bomb's wires, a knife, cause you never know when you need a knife, especially when you're defusing bombs, and we can't have them going in unarmed when it's a hostile environment, so we're gonna give them a nice pump shotgun. Since this suit is so bulky, it'll be very hard to use weapons with any kind of accuracy, so a little buckshot should solve that problem. Now, we're also going to want a non-lethal option on the field. This is, after all, supposed to be a team of peacekeepers, not soldiers. So let's start by ripping his old hair off. We'll slap on some of these nice goggles for him and put on a helmet. Now he's looking spiffy. We can now give him this less lethal shotgun, which essentially has beanbag rounds, so it's more in the realm of incapacitating. And we'll also give him a nice taser. This way the SWAT team has the option to not kill everybody. Finally, we're going to need our SWAT team captain here. And for our boy, we're gonna give him this nice P90, which actually has a reloadable magazine at the top there. And just to add a little coolness factor to the squad lead, we'll give him a nice 44 Magnum.
Damn, boy, he's thick!
Now that the squad's all suited up, they're ready to roll out to the museum. They start piling into the back of the SWAT truck here and take off. Back at the museum, robbers continue to loot spell books, ancient shields, and historical documents. They're beginning to pack them up and are trying to ship out before the cops get there. But it's too late. The cops have already stacked up against the door. It's breach and clear time, baby. The breacher gets ready and starts hammering.
FBI, open up!
The SWAT team makes their breach and immediately starts blasting, catching one of the thieves trying to steal the chicken of raw. The non-lethal unit gets to work incapacitating, and non-SWAT team agents begin tying up with zip ties the incapacitated men. But this is just one room. There's still plenty of enemies left alive trying to steal the Chaos Emerald. The infiltrators have bypassed the laser security system, and they start laying down cover fire as the SWAT team infiltrates. SWAT forces respond with fire of their own. The enemy force is overwhelming. The captain gets a lucky spray out, killing one of the bandits. The other retreats further into the corner, getting farther away from the Chaos Emerald and his riches. Another SWAT unit attempts to cross over, but ends up on the laser wires, ending his SWAT career for good. Yeah, it wasn't too lucky for our boy Bob here. The captain takes special aim with his 44 Magnum and catches the last thief. While the action at the Chaos Emerald was fierce, the Chaos Emerald saw so much action because it was perceived to be the most valuable item in the entirety of the museum. With its safe recovery, millions of dollars have been spared. However, there's another item that the SWAT team didn't anticipate being stolen. While all this was going on, Jeff was in another exhibit. For you see, he knew all eyes would be on the Chaos Emerald. But there was another treasure, a second place treasure that wouldn't draw as much heat. So as his men died in the other rooms, Jeff stared at a beautiful Bob Ross painting, a modern day Mona Lisa, valued easily over $100 million. Jeff quietly slipped out the back door before the SWAT team completely encircled the place. The team believed they had all the burglars. After all, there were so many of them. How would they know if one slipped away? Well, one person did know. Watching from the security monitors was the security guard, witnessing Jeff slip out the back door with a valuable original Bob Ross. And back at the hideout, Jeff had already lined up a high-end buyer, selling the painting for a cool $100 million. But he wouldn't get that whole money himself. He had to split half of it with the security guard. For you see, Jeff and the security guard had planned this operation from the get-go, causing distractions, calling the police, killing their own men, all to ensure that the two of them would be able to make a getaway amongst the chaos. And now they were swimming in riches, ready to buy more weapons to commit more crimes. And by the time the SWAT police realized they'd been bamboozled, it was already too late. The real treasure had been stolen. Thank you guys so much for watching. For today's giveaway, we're going to be giving away one of the robbers here from BrickTactical.com, as well as a SWAT police sniper. All you gotta do is hit the like button, subscribe, and comment down below. What type of video would you like to see next? More robberies, weapons videos, covering different wars? Just let me know what you'd like me to make in LEGO. Peace!